Hello and welcome back to another episode of Diablo 2 D&D. My name is David, and today I'm going to be going over the new rules for set items and giving you an example with the Angelic Raiment set. So in Diablo 2, there are certain items that are marked green on their screen, and those are the set items. Set items are individually just generic items. Some of them are pretty good, some of them are not so much, but the more you get, the more powerful they become. They kind of work together. They are a, set. This took me quite a while to figure out how I wanted to do the rules for them, but I think I've got it down pretty well. Set items are powerful magical items that gain additional effects when worn together. The items grant set bonuses depending on how many items in the set you are attuned to, and may have additional effects on the individual items. Each set item requires attunement, but each item past the second does not require an attunement slot. So one of the points of balance for set items is more than just the gear slots, but how many sets you can have on you at one time. My goal was to make them individually decent, maybe a little underpowered, but the more items you get, the more powerful they become. So what I've done is every set item requires attunement, but once you have those two attunement slots taken up, then anything beyond that, it still requires attunement, but it doesn't take up an attunement slot. So that way you can have, two items are about equivalent to a normal 2 attunement slot items, but then the more you get, the more powerful it becomes. I had considered making it just every set requires 1 attunement slot, but that got pretty powerful. That means you could equip up to 3 different sets depending on how many slots you had. I mean, you've got like helms and body and weapons and shields and maybe a different weapon or, a whole host of things. But by making it require 2 attunement slots, that is probably way more balanced. And it does mean that any person can only have 1 set equipped at a time or attuned at a time. Of course, unless you're an artificer, in which case you break all the rules for attunement anyway. So let's take a look at the first set items that I have created. So way back when, in my the previous generation of playtesters that I had at my table, I gave one of them the Angelic Halo. It's a ring and it's uncommon, requires attunement from the set Angelic Raiment. Back then, it increased your maximum hit points by your level, as well as giving you additional hit points when you spend hit die to regenerate hit points. This was very much like the base Angelic Halo in Diablo 2. It has Replenish Life 6 and a plus 20 to life. So, it did what it did. or the D&D item did exactly what the Diablo item did. However, as I had worked on this set, it became very clear that doing both of those as a base item was a little too powerful. I mean, it's an uncommon item. Granted, it does require attunement, so maybe. But in the end, I made a couple of changes. So here is the set in its entirety. I've already gone over the Angelic Halo, although I did change the effect from... I removed the hit point maximum benefit and just made it whenever you regain hit points, you regain 1 additional hit point. For the Angelic Mantle, which is a chain shirt, all of these, by the way, are uncommon, requires attunement, and set from Angelic Raiment. This armor, when you're wearing it, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage deals 1 less damage from non-magical sources. This is kind of that heavy armor master sort of feel. The Angelic Sickle is a scimitar and deals additional damage to the undead, 1d6 radiant damage, but it also has another benefit. If you are attuned to 2 or more items from the Angelic Raiment set, you gain a +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls with this weapon. It turns into a +1 weapon. For the Angelic Wings, it is an amulet, and it gives you dark vision out to 60 feet. For the set bonuses, if you have 2 or more items, any of the 2 or more items, your hit point maximum is increased by your character level, which is pretty good. 3 or more items, as an action, once per long rest, you can regain an expended spell slot of a level equal to or lower than the number of Angelic Raiment items you are attuned to. And then when you have the full set for items, you have resistance to cold and fire damage. Now, I think the bonus is a little wonky. Maybe that 3+ items and 4 items should be switched, but let's give you the breakdown of why I did what I did. So, sets in Diablo are handled very differently in Diablo 2, in Diablo 3, and in Diablo 4. I'm not entirely sure about Diablo Immortal. I have played like 5 minutes of that game. In Diablo 2, there are 2 different set bonuses. There are set bonuses that are unique to the items, and then there are set bonuses that are kind of item agnostic that are a part of the set. If you look over here on the left of the screen, you can see the set bonuses that are agnostic. It gives you additional dexterity, additional mana, and then if you have the full set, it gives you half freeze duration, all resistance, better magical items or more magical items, regeneration of mana, and then dexterity and mana. On the 4 items that text in green is for the Angelic Halo, it gives you more attack rating based on character level, gives you more magic find. For the Angelic Wings, it gives you more life, gives you more skills. For the Angelic Mantle, it gives you better defense and fire resist. And then for the Sickle, it's enhanced damage and increased attack speed. Now, I could very easily do a 1-to-1, or as close to a 1-to-1 as I could. But that would become very bloated, because this is a lot of abilities, and it would become very confusing, but also very, very, very powerful. The Angelic set is an early game set. This is why they are uncommon, because you're going to get that Angelic Halo 4 or 5 times before you leave normal. Angelic Mantle, same, and Sickle as well. The Wings, for some reason, is always like super rare for me. I think I've found like 1. No, I take that back. I've never found it. I've never found an Angelic Wings. And I have taken multiple characters, 5 or 6 through hell. I think I've gone through with everybody except for the Warlock. So 7, at least 7 characters all the way through hell, never found an Angelic Wings. Anyway, so what I've done with the set bonuses is I have kind of mixed and matched. Yeah, I've pulled the bonus to life, for example, off the Angelic Halo as the base item, off the Angelic Wings as the 2-set item bonus, and kind of mushed them together and put it on the Angelic Raiment item agnostic list. I looked at the attack rating bonus from the Angelic Halo, looked at the enhanced damage from the Angelic Sickle, and kind of mushed them together and put it on the Angelic Sickle as a base item, or as a set bonus on the base item. Things like that. I've mushed things around just so that they feel better. For the full set, I got rid of the finding magic items. I got rid of the dexterity. I looked at the half freeze duration, and I looked at the fire resist from the Angelic Mantle, and mushed them together to give you resistance to fire and cold. I also stirred in a little bit of that all resistance. For the regenerate mana and the plus to mana, I kind of made that the regenerating a spell slot. Warlocks are screwed over, as always, but by and large, it feels like the set. It's a very defensive-focused, it's a very utility-focused set. So I feel that this would be pretty good for characters between level 2, 3, and like level 6, where you'd have maybe get the Angelic Sickle and the Halo. So that way you have a little bit more healing and a little bit more damage against the undead. As for the base items, those got very interesting. The Angelic Halo, I think I've already gone over with regenerating life. For the Angelic Wings, I looked at the damage taken goes to mana, and I thought I couldn't come up with a way to make that really work. So I kind of took a little bit of that and mixed it in with the 3rd set, or the 3-item set bonus, and instead just gave you dark vision out to 60 feet. I think I could do dark vision out to 120 feet because this is an uncommon magical item. And dark vision out to 60 feet is like a common magical item. So maybe, maybe not. For the Angelic Mantle, that damage reduced was just picked up and dropped immediately into the base set. And then for the Angelic Sickle, of course, it has that amplified damage. Got to be careful about how I use that. Amplified damage is a curse. Necromancer curse. It has that additional damage to undead, the increased damage to undead. And so I thought, well, I mean, you have things like Giant Slayer, you have things like Dragon Slayer, and those were kind of the template. So I was like, oh, yeah, okay, this is an uncommon magical item. I'm not adding 2d6, 3d6, not getting additional, ton of additional damage. But yeah, sure, have an extra d6. I think the scimitar itself is a d6 weapon, so it just kind of adds another die to the damage roll. And that's pretty much it. This is the kind of template that I'm going to be using going forward by kind of mixing and matching these set bonuses and putting the bonuses where they make sense. I could technically just make the Angelic Sickle just a +1 weapon, a base +1 weapon. I don't think that would break it too terribly much. And it would also remove some of the strain of trying to figure out exactly what the weapon does. Because if you just kind of lodge it in your mind that, oh, this is a +1 weapon, then it reduces a lot of the mental strain of trying to figure out or trying to remember, oh yeah, I've got the Angelic Halo and the Sickle. So I really need to remember to add that +1 to attack and damage rolls. But I think overall, this is pretty well done. I'm going to be doing more of these sets. I probably will not be doing all of them. Or not all of them. I probably will not be making videos on all of them because there are a lot of items. And even if I did the sets, just like one set per week, there's 34 of them. And I'd rather not take up, half a year, more than half a year, 2/3 of a year in doing just the set items, because I've also got all the monsters that I want to do. So I'm going to be making these things here and there, giving you updates. You know what? I might do like 2 sets a week. If I did 2 sets a week, that would shorten it down to 16 weeks, which is 4 months, thereabouts, which is not bad. So yeah, I think that's going to be it for today. And let me know what you think. I really enjoyed making this. I really did enjoy making this. And I look forward to continuing to do these and giving you some items to throw in your own games. You can contact me at XenozFan2, that is XENOZFAN2 on Blue Sky and Reddit. And you can contact the channel directly at Diablo TODND on Blue Sky and YouTube. Thank you much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good whatever.